So what about AI? Do you think it's going to take over the world at some time?
Have you seen Terminator?
I have, yes. That was in the 80s. It was an 80s movie, wasn't it? Or was it 90s?
Late 80s. I think Terminator 2 was early 90s. 92, I think, 91.
Hasta la vista, baby. Is that the same one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And there's other such iconic lines from Terminator. The first one with, "I'll be back."
I'll be back. Yes.
When he goes into the police station and he asks for if Sarah Connor's there. And he says, "I'll be back." And he comes back and rams it with the police car. Anyway, getting off topic. So I don't think that ChatGPT and DeepSeek and all the other AIs I keep getting Facebook ads for are really going to do that to us just yet.
But you haven't closed the doors on that concept.
Well, that would be silly and ignorant to really know what it's going to do.
Well, I mean, the reason why we are talking about AI today is because we're both sort of techie people and we use it a lot in our jobs, and it was something we're both interested in, so we thought we'd switch it up. And
I think we both use it every day, but I think it's come a long way, hasn't it? Since where did it come out? Like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago?
About 3 years now.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the third. Is this the third year?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, 2022, I think. The start of 22 that we all got
to. I remember when it came out, just like chucking like random things in there and thinking, oh, that's pretty cool. That's a bit, that's a bit of fun. Yeah. But never really using it much more than that.
It was blocked at my work. Like we couldn't use it. It was blocked. Okay. It's like, I'm still using it.
That's where you bring your own laptop in and you connect on your phone.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we've got one of them, not ChatGPT. There's another, the DeepSeek one that's blocked where I work, for obvious reasons, being Chinese made and owned and all that sort of stuff. So I think there's a lot of companies that would block that one.
Yeah.
Just because of espionage and state secrets and everything else, data sharing that you don't want to put in there.
No, so you
use at your own risk.
Yes.
Whereas ChatGPT is what.
Well, it's still use at your own risk as well, but I guess
it's a little bit more comfort to it.
American-owned Microsoft, is it?
I think it was or is Microsoft owned, something to do with it. But I remember using OpenAI and ChatGPT to do things like just give me silly answers to silly questions. What's the world's fastest animal? Things that you'd normally just Google. Remember that Google it?
Yeah.
Google it.
Yeah.
And you just stick it into Google, you get your answers, and then it just become like ChatGPT it. And then I was using it just for the same thing, just like a search engine.
But it's not really the same thing though, is it?
Well, no. It can give you those facts though. But
that's how I was using it like that too. But you get better at understanding what AI actually is.
Oh,
it's not a search engine.
That's the key. And I always think it's still funny that you still see copies of people's job apps and cover letters that say, please write me a cover letter for this position, make it sound human. And then they've copied and pasted the entire, the response that says, here is a copy of your cover letter. I've made it sound very human-y. And then it's dear sir, madam, and they've copied the whole thing. And then people have gone back and like highlighted it saying, not quite sure about this one. I have
actually done that in an email. It was just one of the kids' sports things. And I was just like, please, can you just condense this? And then it's like, here is your condensed version of the email. And I sent it like that. I was like, oh, man.
Judged.
I did that. Yes, I did that. Yeah. I was just hoping that the person reading it would have no idea what ChatGPT is and not even understand what was just going on.
It's a worry, isn't it? And I'm sure you can do something like when you put your thing in and you say, please don't give me any pretext to my response. Just give me my plain and simple response.
But it doesn't do that anymore. So the
I think it does something.
No, the update is there is no pretext anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Which
just
is
gives
great.
You what you need.
Yeah, so I mean we've got ChatGPT 5 coming up as well, so that'll be interesting to see how that that is used. But I guess we'll just let's explain what is ChatGPT. What's the difference between the Google search engine and actually ChatGPT?
Well, as far as I know. And one of the main things that made Google so popular back in the day when it first came out is it doesn't just go and give you the results, it gives you an order of popularity. So you can type something in and it will come up with the most appropriate and popular answer for you. Whereas something like OpenAI will go and trawl through its large language model, piece together everything that it's learned from everything that's been trained on, so everyone else's queries that are putting in and the response it gives them, and then comes back with you that's something that is potentially a lot more tailored, rather than here's a list of things that may apply, but actually give you something that you can definitely use.
Yeah, definitely. And how I would explain it to my students, because I'm creating content on what is AI and how to use it ethically as well, that we'll go into. But AI is an algorithm, that mathematical algorithm, like you said, the large language model, is
LLM,
that right?
yep.
Yeah. And it searches the whole internet. So think about your search engines. It searches every single bit of information or data that has ever been put out into the world, the wide web. And depending on the questions or the questions that you ask it, or the instructions that you give it, it's going to go and search every bit of data that has ever been posted online and create a tailored answer specifically for you. Now, if you've actually got an account for ChatGPT, then it gets even more tailored and specific to your needs, because it learns.
It remembers things about you and your previous queries and what you've asked it before and things. Yeah,
and that's probably where we started off with the free version, but I can't. I have to have the paid version.
I think the kicker for me with the free one is, sometimes it's just not available, or there wasn't enough users for it or whatever, and it would be like, oh, ChatGPT's unavailable. It's like, I actually need to send an email. This is unacceptable. I need to pay my $20 per month because I can't have this unavailable when I've set an expectation about how I'm going to communicate with people.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was pretty quick to subscribe.
Yeah.
And have been for the last 12 months at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the way I create all my educational content as well, making sure that everything is, up to scratch, grammar and punctuation. That's always a great one as well. And, just formatting it the way that you want it to as well, which is really great, because you can ask it, put it into a 3-column table for me. Yeah, that's right. Include an example for each one. So it's great. Yeah,
that's the thing with there's a fly buzzing around.
I see that.
It really comes
we'll
up
see if we can spot
it. That's the thing with the prompting. I use it a lot for give me a list of pros and cons of this and that from this perspective. I found you have to be super clear with your prompting. Because
it's asking of questions, isn't it? It's like developing your ability to be able to ask really good, specific, clear,
a well thought out question. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you can't just say what's the what's the difference between this and explain the benefits, because you need to give it a point of view. You need to give it a because this is my reasoning behind this, and go into that extra level of detail. Otherwise, it can give you something that's right, but it may not be the right thing that you're looking for, and tailored to what you need. And I think a lot of people have gone down the wrong paths with things, say using it for work or for advice on things. You ask it a very general question, it gives you something. It's like, oh yeah, that's good. But when I've used it, it's like, you know what, that doesn't feel right. I don't think this is the right path. And then I've had a conversation with it and said, this is reading my thinking. What would you think if we looked at this instead? And then it actually says, you know what, that's actually better.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed with ChatGPT, it's always enthusiastic, and it's like, yes, that's a great idea.
Like a child,
well done.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, there's no, what were you thinking? That is absolute ridiculous thought process. It is very positive, and it's like, yeah, of course you can. Yes, this can be done. That can be done. The sky is the limit. So, you can't really trust it in that sense, because it's always going to tell you that, yes,
that's right,
that's a great idea.
So I know when I use it, I work in IT, and say if I want some advice, if I'm thinking about something, whether this would be a good idea, it's always going to say yes. Sun shines out of my ass.
Yeah, it's
I'm sitting back, I'm like, oh yes,
I'm seeing that as well.
I'm bloody great at this business. Everything I do is right, but you do have to give it that this is where I'm thinking. This is the steps I'm thinking of. This is where I'm coming from. Is there anything I'm missing to validate? Because I'm not looking for an answer. I'm looking. I've already got my answer. That's the thing. Some people may be using ChatGPT to come up with the answer.
Yes.
That they don't have, or the question they haven't thought about yet.
You can't trust it. Yeah.
But I know for me, I've thought about something and I know the way I want to go, but I want that validation. Is there something I've missed? Or is there a better way of doing this? Give you a few different ideas. Yeah. So, and that's the excellent thing. I love that you brought that up, because it's the whole idea of, if you use ChatGPT, you're cheating. You're cheating. Yeah. You're not actually coming up with anything yourself.
Yeah. And as a teacher, using it for educational content, I would love to see you create the content that I do with the expertise that I have in my field. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You're not going to understand what the curriculum looks like within whatever specific subject. You're not going to understand the level of students' needs. So I've got an expertise that you can't just copy and paste information or ask silly questions. Yeah. Whereas for you in your field as well, there's no way I'd just be able to use ChatGPT to take over your career.
No, that's the thing you can't do. Even so, I use it as a developer tool as well to help me with development work that I do for other things. And even then, it's not the case of just build me this. Because it needs to know how it wants to work. You can't just say, build me a tool that will, you type in this and it gives you that at the end of it. It's like, it could do it, but I mean, missing a hell of a lot of things. You need to think about it and know how it's going to work yourself. And I want it to do task X, first of all. It needs to get from task X to go into all these sort of things to get you that bottom result. And it won't just generate it for you. You need to know how things work. So you do need to be very good, or, at least some skill in the field that you're doing it in.
And even using AI as well. Having actually the skill to use it effectively so that it's not pumping out generic ChatGPT content, because it's very visible.
Well,
you can see.
Just saying make it sound human doesn't quite do it, does it?
It doesn't. So, and I get looking at my students, and they just don't have that level of expertise to be able to personalize, use it in a way that makes it more personal to their. Yeah, it's a copy and paste, and it is a glaring. Yeah, it's glaringly obvious.
It's a different thing by telling, hey ChatGPT, please write me a 2,000 word essay on Animal Farm, compared to, please explain how scenario X really affects the characters within chapter 1. And their thoughts and feelings about the rest of the book. And
I would like you to focus on these specific quotes, using these specific quotes, and I want you to highlight the relationship between this this pig and that pig.
And that capitalizes what we were saying, right? Is that anyone can put a prompt in, but you need to be very specific and know what you want to get out of it. So you need to know your content in order to the difference between write me an essay on X or what the scenario that you mentioned, going in, you couldn't even compare what that would generate between the two.
Yeah. So you've got to, it's like driving a car. You've got to be in complete control and know exactly what you're doing.
Oh, maybe that's some advice that you should take after our driving experience a couple of days ago when you were.
Well, sometimes I'm half asleep. Okay. I'm not always on high alert.
You normally drive the other way, the complete opposite way to home and everything. You don't know where you're going.
Well, I mean,
just tell me how to get home.
We need to get one of those Tesla cars.
You need to actually start looking at your GPS.
I need a car that drives for you. I need a car that drives for me. I want one of those.
Yeah, that would be good. So no, I use ChatGPT in the workplace. There's not a day where I'm not logged into ChatGPT, but it's what I find, I use a lot of the temporary chat so it doesn't store and learn from the things I'm typing in, because there's things organization specific that you might want to put in somewhere or you don't feel like you can. So it's easy just to hit that little temporary chat button, and it won't remember those kind of things. But you should see my ChatGPT. It's got thousands and thousands and thousands of the questions or the prompts all down the left hand side.
You know what we could get?
So many scrolls.
the next step would be to actually be nicely organized in there, because mine is just an absolute mess.
I've started using folders, the project folders.
Have you?
Yeah,
So
I've got a 2025. I've got a side business. I've got a fitness one.
Oh, great! So you've actually got. I haven't started doing any of that yet.
Yeah.
So
it's difficult to remember to click into it, then start prompting, so it's all the same. You can drag and drop.
Yeah.
But I actually find the fitness one is pretty good. So I can say, going like generic again, like I want to create a 5-day workout routine where I want to assistant going from X weights down 5 kilos within the course of 4 weeks. And then you can go and you can tailor and say, yeah, I don't like this exercise, or I like this exercise, or do more of this, or yes, I will have a protein shake after. And you can really go and customize it. And then what it will do, it'll just create your plan. And I'll go and stick it in OneNote or whatever, and I'll go work out, and I'll follow that. And I'll come back after 4 weeks and say, that was really good. I like this. I didn't like this. Please generate me another 4 weeks based on
that's
similar
great.
outcome.
And I guess I did that on the weekend with my daughter's birthday when we planned the fondue, and I was like, give me an ingredients list for a me an ingredients list for fondue.
So that was a really nice dinner. So I guess that might even lead to another question, right? Is that who am I actually thanking for dinner? Am I thanking you? Or am I thanking AI?
Well, AI did it all.
You did the cooking, you implemented it, you served the dinner, you came up with everything. Well, you didn't come up with everything, but was it you, or was it
for
AI?
You losing weight and getting fitter?
No, well, I think I did a lot of that. If I could just plug myself into AI, then it does the sit-ups and running for me, that's fine. But
that's the future. And that's like that cartoon, the movie WALL-E.
I haven't seen that. With the robot?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
With all the fat people?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
That's like the 2 bits I know about it.
Yeah, so that they're all up in space and they lose their bone mass and they're all sort of blue.
And there's little hover chairs.
And they can't
scooters.
stand and they're in hover chairs because they.
Yeah, that's all I know about that one.
Yeah, so that just reminded me of that you just sort of plugged into AI. You didn't have to do anything.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That we were talking about this before. Is like, if you're applying for a job or you've written an essay on Animal Farm, how does anyone know that you've come up with the content, or it's just the computer is just putting in a cover letter and you're just reading a cover letter thinking, is this even a person? How do you know who's actually done it?
So, I mean, that's a twofold question there. The kids' essays, kids' assignments and stuff, I think that's going to be a whole education needs to be completely revamped, because it's just these AI-generated content being submitted by students, and then teachers on the other end are just grading the students' work using AI as well. So it's just this – it's not going to get any better.
It's a big cycle of AI going
and
around.
It is shocking, really. Yeah. So that something needs to change there.
Yeah.
The other part – what was the other part you were talking about?
Like job applications.
Yeah, job applications. I know I've been doing a fair bit of those.
That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah. But I'm not making up my history.
No, that's
I'm
right.
not making up my background information, my qualifications, my experience. I'm not making any of that up. If you've got a list, you're just tailoring it to whatever jobs they are.
But it can do that, right? Because I know when I've put things into, I used to write match reports for my local soccer match, right? And I used to say, write me a match report. You know, this was the end score, and these are the people who scored the goal, and this was the one or two memorable things. And it would do that, but it would add so much that hadn't happened just to fill in those gaps.
Yeah, but that's
a worry.
Yeah, so what I've noticed that, and so when I prompt it and I say, have a look at this job job that's going out. I want you to look at my cover letter and my resume, and I'll just upload those documents, the Word documents, my generic cover letter and resume, and I'll say, I want you to fine tune it to this job.
Yep.
Do not include any additional information. Only use what's in.
Don't make up a 10-year career at
you've got to be
at
really
the tax office and
so
like
you
that.
actually, I found that I have had to explicitly say, do not embellish or add any extra information. Just use the information that I already have.
Is there a term for that they use?
I don't know.
Is the hallucinating? Is that the one?
Yeah. So, and you can't trust it. Hallucinations is what ChatGPT does.
Yeah.
It's not going to just come up. It's not going to say, I don't know what to add, or I can't do this. It will just make things up.
That's worrying, isn't it? And the reason why I say it's worrying is because our brains do that too, where there's always two sides to the story, or three sides to a story, right? Is that what I believe happened, because I can think of something, but my mind has filled in some gaps that I may not have had. And your version has filled in gaps that you might now have had. And then version 3 is what actually happened to the outsider. But it's worrying how that is quite
AI
similar.
is going to take over the world, because
it's so similar to how our brains work.
Yeah,
which is really, really worrying.
Well, we can get into a massive theological sort of discussion around that. Maybe we're all sort of living in an AI, but let's just...
I don't think we're Matrix yet.
We need to watch that movie. But
well, I reckon that's pretty dated compared to what's out now.
Yeah. What were you talking about? You mentioned about health.
So I was reading an article today or yesterday about a lot of people are using AI, ChatGPT and the like as mental health. So, there's people who are suffering from depression, anxiety that we've talked about, and they're putting all their symptoms into there and they're getting advice. But once again, it's not, you have to be so careful, because ChatGPT is going to, if you're thinking you're going in a very dark path, it'll try and pull you out of it. All these things are bad. You don't want to go down there. I recommend you speak to a healthcare professional. All these sort of things. But yeah, it is quite worrying. And it's almost at the case where, you Dr. Google your symptoms back in the day.
What's the difference?
That's exactly it. This is next level though, because you could say, into Google, I've got a headache. And 3 pages later, it's like, geez, I've got a brain tumor and I've only got 3 months to live. Because your brain goes there. Yeah. Because all that information is available to you. And everyone says as a doctor or healthcare professional, don't Google it. Come and talk to us.
Yeah.
And it's the same with mental health as well. And I've used it for mental health. Is that I've put things in and it's given me something and it's like, I don't know about that. Or that's not really how I'm feeling. And this article was about the dangers of that, because you can go down a path by answering yes to questions and all this sort of stuff that is completely not for you and can take you into a worse place.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not the same as sitting in front of someone and actually talking
even
about
though
your problems.
It's trying to mimic that very much so. So if you do ask a personal question, be like, oh, really? That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing your blah, blah, blah. So it is AI.
But don't worry, you're amazing, you're incredible, and the sun shines out of your ass.
I'd love it to get a response like that.
Well, but it is very, very it's very worrying where it's going, and because it's so accessible, whereas things like healthcare profession isn't so accessible to people, and it costs money, quite a lot of money for someone who's been through it a few times. It's hard, and it takes time. You got to get there. You only got a certain amount of appointments. It's extremely time consuming as well, and exhausting. Sometimes just popping it into a chat window is a much easier thing, but it's fraught with those kind of dangers too, as to where it can lead you.
Oh, definitely.
If not properly managed.
What about the ethical sort of ideas? Because I look at we're just looking at ChatGPT. But the new Sora that's going to be coming out soon, and that's actual video content. So typing something in and it'll create an actual video for you. So that's already out at the moment, but I'm looking forward to Sora. That's going to be next level. So you can type in and it'll create the most beautiful images. And there's a new update that's just come out that the images are just so much better than what they were at the start of this year. And it is learning so quickly, at speed. Like, it's insane how quickly it has just boomed. And it's just really exciting from a creative perspective. And even just thinking how could we use it maybe to in this podcast, or creating video content or other educational content, or something for our business down the track. I'd love to play around with it.
That's the thing. It's Yeah, even I've noticed with the image generation of when you say generate me a mock-up of a SharePoint site or something like that, it would come up, there would be words completely misspelled, or it would have like 3 Z's in SharePoint, weird, and it's just like someone's kind of hand drawn it a bit. It was all over the place.
Or 6 fingers on a hand.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't ever quite right, and then
it is now though.
Yeah, it's really the photorealistic stuff.
Yeah. So where's the ethics around that though?
Well, I don't know if there is or not, but
well, there definitely is.
I think that where I want to go with an example is that late last year when I was at my previous job, we did a small module in this big workshop. We did a small module on ChatGPT and the use of AI. And what they had done is they'd taken the one of the big higher ups in the company and taken a webcam video of him, and then they'd taken voice samples as well, uploaded the voice samples, and they'd given it a whole speech to do, and it played the whole thing. And we watched it and thought, oh, this is a nice welcome message from
deepfake.
Deep faking. Yeah, exactly. This is a nice welcome message from the person. And then we realized after that, you know what, that none of that apart from 2 words at the very start were actually him.
So a lot of scams, very scary to think. And there was a big CEO that got scammed 25 million or 25,000? His assistant released money because she thought she was FaceTiming her boss.
Yeah.
And it was a scam.
That's crazy, isn't it?
And she transferred the money, funds.
Yeah, that's next level.
So there's
stuff,
some dodgy stuff. Yeah, and
extremely.
There was a mum that got scammed as well to give money. She was, I think this was just audio, and she got a phone call and it was, it's your daughter.
I've been
kidnapped.
I know that one.
Please, yeah. And
so it's not just
scary.
It's not just the badly worded text messages or emails to say, hey, you've won $1 million. Please give me all your bank account details and I get it over to you. It's becoming a lot more mature.
Yes, which is so. So we're all really needing to know exactly how do you know what you're looking at, and there's this legal thing now that if you are using AI imagery of people, you actually have to. And you're posting it online, you have to legally say this image was generated by AI.
Yeah.
So that has to be done, which is great. So who owns it? If I'm going to be creating all this imagery, well, am I creating it? Is it my content? Do I own it? Who owns it?
Yeah, don't know.
Well, at the moment, it's yours to use. It's your content.
It's yours up until a certain time, I think, when some laws come in or some copyright or IP stuff comes in. And that's going to be very, very, very interesting to actually go and see all that.
Because that really works. Copyright for who though?
That's right.
But yeah, so we do have a poll. I've put a poll up that I'd really love to see our viewers actually engage with that one and see where your stance is on AI. And we have another little Easter egg because you've watched right till the end. We will let you know that. Have you noticed that Ed has actually been wearing a brand new pair of shoes? Well, not a brand new pair, but a new pair of shoes every episode he wears. So that's going to be an interesting one.
Keep it fresh.
I want to see how many pairs of shoes you actually have. So a new pair every single episode.
I'll get some cheap ones in, don't worry.
So if you are one of those viewers that have actually watched right till the end, put a comment in on this episode on Ed's shoes so that we know that you've actually watched till the end. Pretty funny.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting. That was a good conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. And in this podcast, we've not actually sat in front of the cameras. It's been all AI generated. No, I'm joking. This is really us.
Like and subscribe.
More videos.